In this video I show you how to configure a network switch in Cisco Packet Tracer. Go ahead and click on the switches category in the bottom left corner of Packet Tracer. Take the 3560 switch and drag it onto the screen. It's the fourth one in the row. Double click it and go to CLI. It asks for the initial configuration dialog. Type no. Hit enter to interact with the command line. To configure the basics, you need to be in the global configuration mode. If you're ever wondering what commands you can execute in which mode, you can just type a question mark and it will show you. The default mode is user execute mode. Now elevate to privileged execute mode with enable and then configure terminal to get to the global configuration mode. Give the switch a name with the command hostname. I'll call mine funny switch. The hostname appears at the beginning of each line. You can configure a password with enable secret. To test the password, you can leave global configuration mode and go back to the privileged execute mode by typing exit once. And then go back to the user execute mode by typing exit again. You can log in with enable now. It will ask you for a password. When you type the password, it will not show you how much characters you already typed. Now enter the global configuration mode with configure terminal. Cisco switches allow you to abbreviate most commands. I'll quickly show you how, so you don't need to worry about that later. If you just type C, the first letter of the configure terminal command, and follow it up with a question mark, it will show you that there are other commands which start with this letter. Now I'll put in O after the C to check if there are any other commands. If you repeat this process, you will notice that it's not ambiguous with just the first four letters of the word configure. You can abbreviate configure terminal to just conft. Back in global configuration mode, we'll perform some layer 2 segmentation. If you type do show VLAN, it will show you the existing VLANs. Now create two VLANs and name them however you like. Type VLAN and assign it a number. Use the name command to name the VLAN. Jump back into global configuration mode and create the other VLAN. If you show the VLANs again, you'll see your VLANs listed. To see it actually work, we'll assign them to an interface and connect virtual laptops to it. To check what ports you want to use, go to the physical view. I will use port 1 and 2. Go to the CLI and still in global configuration mode, type interface. It will suggest a fast Ethernet. Type interface fast Ethernet 0/1. On that interface, allow VLAN traffic with switch port mode access. Tell the switch which VLANs are allowed with switch port access VLAN and then the VLAN number. Exit out and configure the second interface. Interface fast Ethernet 0/2 and switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN. Now check yourself with do show VLAN and see if the interfaces have been assigned to the VLANs. Get back to the Packet Tracer overview and choose End Devices, the second item of the first row. Put two laptops around the switch. I'll name them respective to the VLAN they'll be in. Now to connect the devices, click on the cable category and choose the first one. Click on the laptop and then on the switch. If you have chosen a different interface, you can click on the orange circle and click the switch again to choose a different interface. Make sure you connect the laptop to the interface you have configured on the switch. I'll connect the first laptop to fast Ethernet port 1 and the second to fast Ethernet port 2. Of course, the two laptops cannot communicate across to a different VLAN. Therefore, we need layer 3 with IP addressing and IP routing. Go to the CLI of the switch and you'll see the interfaces are up. The switch acts as the default gateway for the endpoints. Because of that, it needs its own IP address, which will be assigned to the VLAN. Whichever interface you configure for the VLAN, the interface will inherit the IP address from the VLAN. Type interface VLAN and then your VLAN. Now add an IP address with IP address. I specify 192 252.168.0.1, and then the subnet mask 3 times 255.0. Do the same for the other VLAN interface. IP address 192.168.1.1, 255.255.255.0. Exit out and type IP routing to enable IP routing. Now the switch is allowed to route the packets. I'll exit out again and check my configuration with show IP interface brief. Now we have to assign a static IP address to the endpoints. Double click on one of the laptops, click desktop and on IP configuration. Give it an IP address depending on whichever VLAN it is in. The default gateway is the IP address of the VLAN interface it is connected to. Open the command prompt on the laptop and see if you can ping the other device. If it doesn't work, check the configuration of the switch and the configuration of the two laptops.